You know I would never, ever tell you guys about a game if I didn't think it was interesting, right? Even if that game possessed, say, a poor, unnatural sense of storytelling, terrible logic, hilariously unrealistic characters, and even if that game were, say, broken. Today's hidden game is Scratches, an indie horror game about scratches. That is, scratches coming from the basement. Like most games you'll hear me mumble about, Scratches is obscure, released in 2006 by an already dead company. This, right here, is probably the loneliest game in the world. I mean, honestly. Silence, memories, piano, sadness. Pictures, piano, sadness. At least in Silent Hill, you've got white naked half-breed mutants running around all over the place. In Scratches, you've got nothing but yourself. It's so silent, so lonely. It's a wholly reflective experience, but it's sadly not a very good game. The way the plot unfolds is actually very intriguing, and a bit original for the build-up to a tragic mystery. The problem is, you likely won't have any idea what's going on, given the game's convoluted methods of unraveling and terrible, terrible puzzles, if you can even call them puzzles. This is the kind of game I would call broken. But it also happens to be my favorite kind of game. So, let's take a look, shall we? You play as a man named Michael Arthate, an inquisitive novelist having just moved into a spooky mansion. The mansion is really eerie, beautifully drawn. Nothing exceptional or out of the ordinary, but invoking a strong sense of paranoia by its claustrophobic halls and utter silence. Personally, I loved exploring it, because, well, I enjoy exploring depressing, dead places. And boy, is this place depressing. You spend the entirety of your time at the house alone. Paranoia is undoubtedly the game's greatest strength, not only induced by its loneliness, but, embarrassingly, also by its cluelessness. You begin to uncover a sort of murder mystery, but that mystery changes when you start hearing scratching sounds at night. Where are those scratches coming from? Is it human? Is it supernatural? Is it all in your head? I don't know, but you simply must get to the bottom of it.
Michael, for Christ's sake, you could have a burglar inside the house.
This is no burglar, Jerry. It's much more interesting than that, and I want to figure this out by myself.
Oh yeah, the main character talks on the phone a lot. The conversations he has with his friend Jerry are absolutely hilarious. There's nothing really wrong with the dialogue, but remember all those cheesy voiceovers in Amnesia? When your character would start mumbling to himself or have random flashbacks?
What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus.
Yes, well, this is even cheesier.
Are you sure it wasn't a mutant rat?
Definitely no rat.
I'm calling the police.
Anyway, Michael continues to poke around at household objects for hours of mind-numbing boredom, exploring bedrooms, bathrooms, backyard tombs, and greenhouses, and eventually, he makes his way into the basement to find out just where those scratches are coming from. And that's when you find out. There's a man walking around in the basement! So, what does Michael do? Well, instead of calling the police, leaving, or having his friend Jerry come pick him up, Michael decides to continue staying at the house.
Whatever it takes to solve this mystery. You can only find stories like this in books.
Yes, knowing there is a man inside the house with him, possibly a murderer, he still, despite all logical human reaction, must get to the bottom of this.
Just promise me you won't call anyone. I can do this on my own.
I can't relate to this guy. Now, the scares in this game are pretty unique. Hearing scratches from inside the house at night made me wish I could just climb back into bed, rather than investigate the source. Like I said, paranoia is greatly at work, and it really pulled me in. It's a shame, though, because there are only 2 or 3 scares in the whole game. Yes, like paying $15 for a DVD of The Haunting in Connecticut. It's really not worth the price. And that's mainly due to the freaking puzzles. The game is almost impossible to figure out without using a walkthrough. The puzzles make no sense, and none of them are presented with the slightest hint of graspable nature. For example, see this basement? I need to light it up somehow. How do I do this? Well, according to the walkthrough, first I have to pick up this rock, throw it at the ceiling to break the glass, find a screwdriver, head over to the master bedroom, find a mirror in the bedroom, use the screwdriver on the mirror, collect the broken mirror, combine twisted metal wire with the mirror, and then place the mirror on the wall so the light can refract from the ceiling to the basement. That's how you light up the basement. The sad thing is, point-and-click adventure is probably my favorite genre, but Scratches doesn't really please. It's the equivalent to one of those couple 100,000 ghost movies that come out every year. Slow-moving presentations with 1 or 2 good moments, a lot of dreary settings, but nothing that really sticks. For that reason, I can't recommend it. But if you're looking for an eerie, albeit confusing little horror game, you might enjoy yourself. There's a moment of brilliance in an utterly shocking end sequence, which I actually talked about in one of my very first videos. For one single, headache-ridden, walkthrough-aided playthrough, I enjoyed the game for what it's worth. The story is really original, but it just isn't weaved well.